Welcome to One of Our Journey, where we'll be studying once and for all, is Alias really the best show of all time, or is it, well, shall we say, we'll be doing this by me rewatching the show and taking rigorous notes of each episode. We'll, on top of that, be watching and analyzing the show for the deep themes. Themes like, can Jennifer Gardner actually act? When will Rocket Raccoon get put into the raccoon body? Just how hunky are all of the boys? How thick does the sexual tension get? Episode 2 and waste no time getting into it. Everybody rev up your chainsaws because the sexual tension starting in this episode is as thick as some chowder. Our superstar Sidney Bristow is recounting a mission to her handler Vaughn. And while recounting this mission, yep, you guys guessed it, she kicked somebody's butt, bringing a running total of butts kicked by Sidney Bristow to 7. 7 butts kicked, and we're not even 6 minutes into the episode before she kicks the first butt of this one. It's so good, she kicks the butt, it's very fun. Sidney Bristow is very gung-ho to take down SD6, and she's trying to do a very, very fast job of all of this, while Vaughn, on the other hand, is telling her that no, we need to play the long game on this and get all of this done. Sidney says, you don't know what you're talking about, you're too young to be doing this, which is a very weird move, because if you look at the actor and actress who plays the two characters, the actor is 4 years older than her, which is a weird thing for her to say, but it's all good. Vaughn has Sidney draw a map of how big she thinks SD6 is. When doing this, and also, might I add, very begrudgingly, she does, and then he shows her a map that is nationwide, and tells her that she's doing a bad job and they need to long game this. This makes Sidney very mad. On top of that, we get a little bit of a Weewo measuring contest, but we never get to find out whose is bigger because it is cut a little bit short because Sidney needs to go get briefed on her next mission. Sidney is back in black, and might I say looking just as stunning as ever. While she walks in, she gets confronted by, "We are Marshall!" And he tells her that he's so sorry about all of the things that happened with her fiance. And she doesn't really say anything. She just kind of blows him off. But he'll play a key part in today's episode a little bit later on. We'll get there. Sidney goes in and gets briefed for her next mission. After the briefing, Sidney is told to go meet somebody. She walks in there and she meets her dad. She learns for the very first time that her dad has been a spy this whole time for SD6. She walks up to him and says, "Hey, did you know about Danny's death?" He says yes. She then slaps him. Holy crap, these daddy issues are turned up to 11 and as hot as ever! Sidney then goes to the gas station to meet with Vaughn and tell her everything that's going on. They have a very secretive spy meeting inside of this gas station, and which he just says, "Hey, give us the files first and we'll make copies of them and then give you the files back at the airport." And she goes, "Good point, bye." She then leaves. Sidney and her partner Dixon are now on their secret spy mission. Sidney goes and to steal some money, and they're going to pretend to be the buyers, take the money from the actual buyers, and give it to the people selling the files. Sidney goes to try to steal this mission, and she's dressed as a maid. She walks in there, and she sees all of the evil mean men, but she doesn't do anything. Then one goes to take a shower, and there's one just sitting there. She walks up to the one, and she has a secret ring. She turns this ring on, and she shakes his hand. This poisons him and makes him get knocked out or dead. It's not very clear about which one it does. I do need to point this out. Some of you might be thinking that this needs to add a point to the running total of butts kicked by Sidney Bristow. A butt tricked is not a butt kicked. This is a very important thing. If she tricks somebody and not kicks somebody, this will not add to a running total of butts kicked by Sidney Bristow. She tricks him, not kicks him. He passes out or dies. Sidney then starts trying to break into the briefcase. She opens it up, but before she can actually finish opening it up all the way, somebody comes in. And now we actually do get an additional number to our running total of butts kicked by Sidney Bristow, bringing our total of butts kicked by Sidney Bristow to 8. She kicks his butt good and fast. She then realizes that, oh no, they were planning on stealing the things. She then goes and she then tells Dixon this. And Dixon, well, very clearly talks into an earwig. And for somehow is not outed as a spy or outed as having an earwig, which is a very weird thing, but it does run to our total and a factual statement that A-List is very good about perpetuating all of the facts, and this fact is all bad guys are super dumb 100% of the time. Sidney then goes and they do try to do some sort of ruse about getting the files from them, but then the trick doesn't work, and they end up just finding the bad guys, beat them up, and then taking the files for themselves, which does add one more to our running total of butts kicked by Sidney Bristow, bringing our total to 9. I don't know why they didn't lead with this, but that's what happens. Then they go to the airport, and we get a very, very tense moment. What a nail biter! But the files do get back to Sidney in a reasonable manner, and nobody's the wiser. We now get to a pretty weird spot in our Alias episode, where Sidney gets home, goes to her house, puts on her engagement ring from her late fiancé Danny, goes and lays in the bathtub and cries. Hopefully this is not the bathtub that he was fridged in, but if it was, that'd be super weird, and it's not very well explained whether it is or isn't. Shortly after crying, she goes to a quick hang sesh with all of her friends to celebrate one of her friends becoming a lawyer, I think. And while there, Rocket Raccoon tells her that he found something about Danny. They go out and have a quick side convo, and he tells her, "Hey, I think Danny was trying to leave the country or something. She then cries and tells him to drop it. Leave me alone. The information that was stolen a little bit early in the episode finds out that there were secret nukes smuggled into the US of A. Sidney then goes to try to find one of the nukes. She finds it and accidentally starts a timer. The nuke is now counting down. She panics. She calls, "We are Marshall," to save the day, and Marshall tells her to do this. Michael gets very mad because although the bomb does get defused and a nuke does not go off on US soil, SD6 has a nuke now, and she messed up so bad. She should have called Michael Vaughn and not Marshall, because now she gave the bad guys a nuke. What a bad spy. This does go to a little bit of downplaying and maybe help everybody get their little bit of a Weibo measuring competition and all of that a little bit more in perspective. Sidney promises that she can run and get it back, but first she needs somebody to cover for her at SD6. So she goes and she calls her dad, and they have a secret meeting. And while they're having a secret meeting, she says, "Hey, can you cover for me? I need to go get this nuke back because I messed up so very badly." And he says, "Yes, I will." And she says, "Hey, were you the person who bought a plane ticket for my dad, for my boyfriend, so that he would not get killed by SD6? He says, "Yes, I did do that." Now we get a really weird thing, because why didn't he tell her that earlier? There's really no reason they shouldn't have told her that earlier, but for some reason he didn't. And I'm not even that mad that he didn't, because holy crap, those daddy issues are so hot. Did you see when she slapped him? Oh boy, so hot. But there's really no reason that he should not have told her this. It was a very bizarre thing that he didn't do this. Anyway, Sidney, she then goes and she tries to get that nuke back. But do you think she's going to do it? And on top of that, while she's going to get the nuke back, mid-mission, Vaughn gets pulled from her case and he's no longer the handler. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think Sidney's going to be okay? Do you think Vaughn's going to somehow be able to help Sidney? What's the sexual tension going to happen? How's that going to keep going? We have to tune in next time to find out.